It's Friday. What's up, Ben?
It's office hours. Let the riffage begin, dude.
Man, it's been 2.5 months since I've been able to get you onto a pod.
That's not true. Is that true?
It might be true.
I'm happy to be here.
So, why has it been so crazy the last few months? What's been going on?
Is that what we're going to rip into? I wonder where to start, though. Like, I'm trying to think where we even go. It's been great. First of all, like, kudos to our entire team. Kudos to our amazing clients. Kudos to life in general. It's been great, but we should probably back up to I'm looking at the calendar here.
You gonna go back all the way to Christmas?
Well, Christmas was cool. I think we ended, the year with that big party. Was that November maybe? And then December, it was in early December.
Yeah, the last time we actually talked was kind of a recap of 2025 and talking about the party.
Okay, party was cool, great. Everybody was kind of out. I think Brandon was out for he went to New Zealand, was out. We were in office doing some prep, and then January just hit like a freaking ton of bricks because we started off with a big conference in Dallas, and then we had a bunch of stuff on the ground here. I mean, it was just nuts. And then I think the first thing we should really talk about, though, was because I think we should talk about pivots. I think today that should be our topic because we've had two big pivots in the last 2 months. And I don't think that everybody can do that. And I don't think everybody's prepared to do that. And I think people are scared to make decisions sometimes. And I think we should talk about that and the importance of maybe having a contingency. And if you don't, then not being afraid to make a decision. So the first one was for a client that runs a school. It's a private school, and they're, they got a lot going on, man. They're doing big things.
Yes, they do.
And they had one of their founders was coming in to do almost like a town hall type thing with parents, and they wanted to produce it live. We had some overlapping event that occurred with that. So we were separating crew out, and then that ice storm hit Austin.
Yes, it did.
So it was what are you gonna do? Stop. Basically, the Monday of that ice storm, everything was shut down. We couldn't do anything. So just nothing was going to happen. And so we had no time to set up. We had no time to test. We had no time to do anything. It got pushed. The second day, the entire city is still shut down.
Yep.
They decided to go forward. We had to figure out how to get there. Actually, both of our clients decided to go forward on that second day. So we had to get 2 crews out in the ice storm to make it happen. And we did it, and it was badass, and it was awesome, and it was a testament to our crew. And I think, God, I don't know if that video is public, but I would love to post it because that video for the school was just amazing. We did a full live broadcast from their campus. We turned a mezzanine in their campus into a production studio, had it beautifully lit, shot it beautifully, did a live stream with parents all across the world asking questions. It was the founder and then someone moderating with questions coming in real time. They did a full presentation on the school, and it was a flawless broadcast, and it looked amazing. And then now they have a really good thing that I think they're actually utilizing that now as their that's their touch point marketing, where they're sending that out to people to be hey, here's what we're about at the broadcast that we did. It is cool, man.
Well, and I know that when we were planning it out, they did it online, and they'd said that they typically did these in-person meetings once a month to about 50 parents at a time.
Right.
And I know that we had multiples higher than that, right?
Yeah, it was hundreds. I can't remember. I'd have to go back.
I think at one point it was 1,500.
It was a lot. They were freaking out, is what I remember. She was just we've never had this high of engagement on anything.
And people didn't it wasn't a normal Zoom where you kind of watch people, they're kind of riffing like this, but then you kind of zone out and you turn away because it looks so nice. Yeah, people watched more than 50 minutes of a hour 15 thing. It was pretty long average viewership.
No, it was great.
Those are pretty insane stats, right?
They 50, had that's crazy. Good retention. And it was her content was really good too.
Mm-hmm.
It was well thought out. Well. Yeah, they had a great having the host, be there to prompt her was really good. But man, the quality of that production was just so good. I was so impressed with how it turned out at the end of the day, and I was so stoked for like that whole crew that was there to pull that thing off. Cause it's just, I don't know, to pull that off in a day was amazing. So that leads into, we had like crazy overlaps after that, which is, those are, you know, it happens in this industry and it is what it is. So there was some stuff in between there. We had shows every week, dude. First week of February, we had 3 shows. Second week of February, we had 2 shows. Then half of our crew goes to Raleigh for a huge event where we're doing, I don't know, I think there was like 6 breakouts and then a big GS, and we're doing all the tech. And then we're streaming their award show from there, a big demo hall downstairs. I think Nate told me like 30,000 people through that event over the course of the 4 or 5 days.
That's awesome.
So amazing. So those guys crushed it. Then we were trying to fly people in and out because we had an event in Tahoe for a client. And then we had one that was supposed to be in Boston.
Yeah, this week.
And that's the one that was crazy. And we should talk a little bit about it. And I think we're going to get that client on here at some point to do it. But this is what I want to talk about pivoting. So it's one thing to pivot to like, oh my God, I had 2 days. Now I have 1. Like I got to change my expectations. It's another thing to pivot an entire event. And that's what happened. This was supposed to be on a major university campus in Boston, very high profile, a lot of really important people, a lot of stuff going on. And we're starting to get reports while I'm in Raleigh that like, hey, Boston's not looking good. Well, we've got guys flying in from Tahoe from another event, guys flying in from Raleigh, flying in from Austin, flying in from Houston. We all got to get to Boston. Everybody's got gear. Plus we're getting gear on the ground there and it's just looking bad. So Friday night, I called the client, my contact, and I said, hey, look, you got to start making some decisions. It's not looking great. And he's like, okay, cool. I think we're fine. We're going full steam ahead. I was like, okay. It's like, what are you going to do? So then Saturday, I call him again in the morning. I said, dude, I don't know if you're looking at the weather, but this is buddy. Like if I start getting everybody in motion and people get stuck and I miss important pieces of gear or important personnel, we don't have a ton of options. So we need to start making a call. Here's the 3 things you can do. 1, you can just tell me, F off, we're going full steam ahead. And God forbid if it all falls through, then it all falls through and nothing happens. 2, we do a hybrid version where we send a couple of techs up. Like we try to get them on a plane today or tomorrow before the storm with a minimal amount of gear. And we do a hybrid version. Or we go full virtual and you shut the whole thing down. And he's like, I'll call you back. And they decided on the hybrid. So then how long did you spend looking for a flight?
I mean, most of Saturday night. And it was like, we spent like $10,000 buying tickets and then getting tickets canceled. I mean, I would be in line to buy a ticket online. And by the time I was ready to check out, the flight had been canceled. And then I had to go back and like, yeah, it was a stressful night.
It was a stressful night. And so that was the plan, was to send you and 2 other people up. And we were going to, whoever showed up in person to present, this was a pitch day event. So it was like, there's judges that have to come in remotely. There's judges in person. There's people that are going to pitch that are there. And there's some that are coming in remotely. There'll be a live audience and there'll be some virtual audience. So we're like, cool, we can figure this out. Let me get 3 people on the ground with a couple of cameras. We'll do a hybrid version of this. It'll be fine. So you were going to go up with 2 other techs. We had it all planned out. We finally secured the plane tickets. And then Sunday, everything gets canceled. So I get on the
and it was like national disaster level. Like nothing is going to happen.
But here's the crazy thing. And I don't know if I've told you this or anybody this, but I had already laid out the 3 options for them. I hadn't had a conversation with them again until Sunday. We talked on Saturday when we decided to do the hybrid version. I get a call Sunday and it wasn't like we had a conversation. It was, hey, we want to go full virtual. So it wasn't like, I was like, oh, hey, the virtual option's still on the table. They were just like, hey, we're going full virtual. I was like, okay, we're going full virtual. So then it was like, cool, we can do a virtual production. That's no problem. But how do we make it at the level that it needs to be at? So we were fortunate enough that 3 of the people that are really involved in the production were in Houston and we're stuck there, and you're there in Houston. We have a studio in Houston. So we were able to send you over to their campus and get the host, the person that was interviewing the keynote, and the director who the CEO of the company. So those 3, you were able to get cameras, lights, good audio for, and then we pulled them in to our platform. And then Brandon was doing some really awesome NDI switching with all the different frames for multiple iterations of however many people were on camera. And the client, our point of contact, came into the office. He was here on Tuesday. We developed a new run of show. I created a couple of short videos to send out to people so that they would understand how the production was going to work, so they knew it wasn't just a webinar.
Mm-hmm.
We prepped everybody that was going to be live on camera. We checked all their technology, and then that broadcast just crushed on Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you weren't here, but the coolest thing was at the end that, I guess you were still packing up, but that the CEO of that company, which is like a guy who was just in a meeting with the president a couple of weeks ago, called us in to be like, hey, that was unbelievable. He said, I felt like I was watching the Olympics. And I was like, great, dude. It was like, we kind of felt like we were just in the Olympics because it was a lot.
Yeah.
So it was awesome, man. And it was like having you there, like being able to get all that stuff set up, getting all the video looking so good, and just the system that we've built here in this studio to handle virtual productions. It's just so funny to me that like years ago you would need a broadcast truck or some massive studio or whatever. And we got a couple of laptops and some good IO gear and great software and people that really know how to use it. And you can produce a broadcast like that. It was unbelievable.
So let's go back. I mean, like, what was when you were making the pivot with their team, what did that involve from them? Like information they had to give you, and what did that involve on our end to make that happen?
Yeah, for me, really, it was just I needed a decision to be made. Like, ultimately, that was it. I wasn't asking them to do anything. I told my point of contact that eventually I would need him to either be here with me, like he would want to probably come into town and sit with us in the studio since he was in Houston, and that we would need to get somebody, to those places, but that I needed them to make a decision and not let the weather make that decision. Because if you wait and you just think, okay, we're just going to go full steam ahead and just whatever happens, happens. If we start putting things in motion, then we can't pull those back. Like if you were trapped in Boston, well, like done, we're done. We can't do anything. So really from them, all I needed was a decision. I needed them to make the decision. And then I needed them to be able to be the conduit for communication to those people that were going to be involved. And so I'll produce the instructional content that you need so that you know where to be, how to look, how to appear on camera, what's going to happen, how the backstage production is going to work virtually. I needed them to get that information out, and I needed them to make that call. And thank God they made it. I mean, their hand was forced, and it was pretty late in the game, but they made it. Sometime early next week, we'll have like a full recap video from the client on this, and maybe we'll post a link to that so that they can see from the client's perspective. But it was wildly successful. If you're working with somebody doing production, ask them like, hey, what are our backups if things go wrong?
Because essentially, like the content that was going to be presented during the event, each person was presenting it to the camera, kind of like facing the camera, and then it brought into our platform. All the videos, that was pretty easy to scale and play back.
Super easy. That's right.
But it was really building out like visually what is this going to look like so it feels cohesive and feels branded, and coming up with all the interstitials that we might not have had otherwise, right?
That was a big thing. Yeah. So fair point. Like we did have to get approval on all that stuff, and we did have to kind of set them up with like some visuals to say, hey, this is what we're thinking. But I was very cautious in my approach to that, because when I took that stuff to them, I said, hey, look, this is what we would like to do. Right. I didn't say that this is what we are going to do. I said, we're going to like know that we will get this broadcast off the ground. It may be single one-up headshots, a hard cut. It's going to look great. We'll figure it out. But this is how we'd like to make it look. And that's why we were building out all the frames and all the other motion graphics and stuff. And if we can pull it off, this is what we would like to do. Can we get approval? And they were super fast to communicate back with us approval for everything. And then we had them sign off on all that stuff. Like, I need you to tell me this is okay to broadcast. So like just having the fast communication, them trusting us to make all that stuff happen was what made it work. It also helped that it's a client we've worked with a bunch. So it wasn't like, I feel like we had their trust. I feel like probably as soon as they saw you walk in the door, they were like, oh, we're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think so. And so really the only thing that shifted was their sort of ability to meet and collaborate with people at the event. But they still were able to have chat rooms and places where they could like talk to each other online, right?
Yep. You'll never replace the in-person component of that, like in-person networking, but it's a pretty good proxy when you can, give them private chat and like all these things all these tools that we have to where they can do it. And I think people were just, I mean, you got to think about these pitch companies that have been putting months and months of work into this. You got to think about these judges who've been studying these companies and are ready to hear these pitches. You got to think about this team of, professionals that have been working on this pitch day for months and months and months, for all that to evaporate because of a snowstorm, because you couldn't figure out another way to, execute that content, would have been such a tragedy. But we made it happen. But I want to ask you, because you were in a office with one of the most high-powered CEOs in the world, like not in Texas, not in the country, in the world.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? Because you seem pretty calm.
You're just very respectful of the person's time, because you realize that like pretty much every minute you spend with him, he's being paid more than
your entire
who
yearly
knows what.
salary. Yeah.
You're like, okay, that's an
Yeah.
expensive minute of time.
Yeah.
And to treat him very like, this is what's happening, very straightforward. Like, you got to be a straight shooter with people like that.
He seemed, at least on our end, he seemed not uncomfortable at the beginning, but definitely nervous, because I'm sure he didn't watch the video that I produced about what was going to happen. He didn't have time for that.
Yeah.
And I know that he knows us and has seen us on site before, but he probably didn't remember us from, whatever. But I could tell as the broadcast progressed, he was like, okay, I got it. This is cool. Like, this is cool. I'm getting it. And we kept it simple for him to where he had, the basic controls he needed. He could see what he needed to see. He could hear. He looked good on camera. And I felt like by the end of it, he was just in a total groove. And it was like, okay, this is cool.
Yeah. And he's a really interesting guy too, because he is pretty charismatic. Like, I think people really like him, and he's able to motivate people like a CEO should, but he's a very analytical person. I mean, the few times that I got to see what he was doing, most of the time his eyes are down on the spreadsheet, talking about the companies, going through the data, really like tracking what they're saying. The only time that we had an issue is when he started clicking around on the screen, because he wanted to make their PowerPoint larger so that he could see some of the details that they had put in there in too small font, basically.
I saw that happen in the break, and I saw you in there with him, and Nate was walking you guys through.
Yeah.
But you guys kill it. And I saw him like, oh, thank you guys. That's exactly what I wanted. I was like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I guess his IT guys were there too, but and those dudes are awesome. We work with them on the in-person stuff, but they don't know what we're doing.
That's not their
they don't know
skill set. They don't know that software.
Yeah, they don't know what we're doing. So but it was fun to watch you like pop into frame in that office. And I was like, damn, he's like in that office, man. Like, he's in there.
Like, it was a nice corner office, that's for sure.
I bet it was, man. I bet it was.
His assistant's office was almost as big as his office, with their desk and the waiting room. And then right off of that was like one of the largest conference rooms I've ever seen. I mean, it was a 25-seater. It was beautiful table.
Yeah.
I was like, this is good stuff.
They're not, I mean, it is not. Yeah, they're a massive company. So that was super cool. But it felt really good. And then their contact that was here with us was just like absolutely elated. We saw everybody on their advisory board committee meeting afterwards, and they all like came in to thank us and stuff. So for me, it was just like really gratifying to see them so happy and so relieved to know that, I told him this too. I'm like, man, you got to take the credit for this. Like, you came in, you made the decision, you worked with us to get the show off the ground. Like, we're just doing what we know to do. Like, you guys made this happen. Like, you got to take credit for that. So it was super cool. And then we went out and had lunch and got to recap with him a little bit. And it was pretty fun. Everything was pretty jovial. So we're going to do a little hype video for that, put that together. And then I don't know, man, we got a bunch of cool stuff coming up. Also, like, we got to do something on the other two events, because those other two events were so badass too. Like, the one in Tahoe was so great. It's a big medical convention up there that the guys do, and they do a big live stream from there, and they have a bunch of cool interactive components that they do. And then the one in Raleigh was just so neat too, because it's so many people. It's just to do a conference that big with so many people in and out and so many moving parts, all these things that you're responsible for. I would love to, pick Nate's brain.
And we've worked with them for so long that we're responsible for a lot more than what a typical AV company or a typical production company. I mean, we have to take a much larger truck than usual, right?
For sure. And I told Nate the craziest thing about that client is, I mean, I don't think that their director walked into the general session ballroom to start the awards ceremony to even look at what we set up until 5 minutes before go time. Like, that's the level of trust. Like, they don't come and talk. Dude, nobody talks to us. It's just like, hey, what days are you going to be there? Okay, cool. We'll see you there. And then it's like,
Yeah.
like, one of them, I don't know what her job title is, but she's pretty much our direct contact the whole time we're there. If she sees me coming, she's always like, oh God, what did I do? What did I do? I'm like, you didn't do anything. I'm like, what's up? Like, they're not worried about us. They think if they see us like come to them, they think that, one of their staff screwed up or somebody else screwed up. So that one, it's a cool case study in how a relationship can evolve with a client. Also, how you can manage a show that big really efficiently. And that's what I want to talk to Nate about, because he's gotten so efficient with that show.
Yeah.
It would cost them 2x easy to bring somebody else in and do what we're doing right now, because of just the efficiencies we've put in place and what we know about their business. So that one was cool. And then I don't know what's coming up. We got a bunch of stuff. You're going to Fort Worth. I actually just heard from another one of our really fun clients that you may be going to. You ready?
Yeah.
The big reveal. Let me see where she said it was someplace crazy. This is April 19th through 25th, which I was like, yes, we need 2 shooters. Montana.
Okay. Oh, finally. They've been wanting us to go there for a while. I'm glad they got approval.
So
and
I think
we're
that's
going
going
to be in Virginia in March.
We're going to Virginia in March to do some stuff. We have a bunch of stuff coming back up.
A new facilities event. Yeah, we're getting emails that they're like still installing AV equipment.
Still installing
electrical.
Look, I met with this client yesterday because this is important for all of you people out there that either do this or that put these events on. Don't be the first person in a new space. And if you are the first person in a new space, bring backups. Hey, I mean, we had a conversation and I was like, please just let us bring it. I know you have all this new equipment. I know it'll probably work, but just let us bring everything. So we're going to bring everything except for the video stuff. If the projector and screen doesn't work, they got bigger problems, but I don't want to have to integrate with any of their other shit. But that's cool because March is like all of our like educational conferences and stuff kind of die down in March because of spring break. So we don't do a ton of like the continuing education stuff in March. And it's great that we have all this other stuff to kind of fill those gaps. And then April, we're in Vegas. There's a bunch of stuff in Houston. Did you see we're going to do a team building on the 15th? We're going to go see the Astros and the Rockies.
No, but I'm excited.
Yeah, man. It's going to be awesome. Because we got 2 conferences in Houston the week of the 15th.
Okay.
Yeah, and then it just kicks off, and then April, and then May gets crazy, and then we're always nuts those first couple of weeks of summer. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. We're still trying to grow. I still want to backfill with a couple of other, like we've had a couple of new clients come on. That one client with the school has been really great. I hope we get to do more stuff with them. Bringing this municipality management group back in is really great. I just had a meeting with them today. So a lot of cool stuff on the horizon, but man, we just got same stuff we talked about last time is like getting our marketing back in line. It's when you said 2.5 months, I was like, dude, it's crazy how fast it goes. I definitely want to talk to Nate about some of these efficiencies that he's found with some of these bigger events. Cause man, that guy's really turned into a hell of a PM. Like he's doing a really good job managing all this stuff. Brown and Drew were coming back from, Tahoe, and I don't think they got into like 1:30 in the morning because all the flights were all still screwed up. The flights were still screwed up from Boston, and I think it was just screwing stuff up all over the country. They didn't miss one, but he said they had to like in Salt Lake City, they basically had to like haul ass from one end of the airport to the other. So they made it. But look, dude, my flight back from Raleigh, there's like 10 people on the plane. It was unbelievable.
Wanted to fly, huh?
Yeah, you didn't have to fly anywhere. You got to chill and make it all happen. So it turned out okay. That was good. That was a good run, dude. It's been a good 2.5 months. Awesome, dude. I appreciate you getting me on today. I appreciate getting to talk about all this stuff because it has been, and I was like kind of fried after this last meeting and I almost texted you. I was like, dude, I don't want to do it today, but man, we've had some pretty big successes. And I know I say this every time, but I'm so appreciative for the trust that we have from so many people. And I'm so appreciative for all the guys on our crew. Like I know everybody says that and they're like, oh, our team's awesome, but man, these guys are so good. And it's just such a pleasure to get to do this with the group that we get to do it with. So I don't know.
Right. That's a great way to end it.
I just feel grateful.
Very grateful.
Yeah, but let's do some follow-up, man. I want to, when we get this up, let's go back and post some links to this, the post-mortem that we'll do with this client on the big pivot, and then their hype video about it so that people can kind of see what we're talking about. And then we'll work with Nate to get a little more insight onto some other stuff. But we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and then we'll start doing more stuff from the podcast studio now that we're back in the office a little bit.
Okay. I look forward to it.
Thanks, buddy.
Talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.